Welcome to the Microsoft Access with SQL Server meeting. I'm your host, Juan Soto. Hi from Chicago. And tonight we're going to be talking for our April meeting about the virtual summit and also got a really neat project I want to share with you guys that's going to help for the COVID pandemic built-in access. So I'm excited to preview that here today with you guys and talk about several things in general. As you know, I have a firm here in Chicago called IT Impact, and we've been lucky, knock on wood, have not been affected as much. I've only had one customer cancel a project. Now, customers who we submitted proposals to, let me tell you, I was on track to beat my sales plan for this year. I was gangbusters January, February, to the point I was ahead of my sales plan. So every month I have a goal of new dollars coming in. And I was ahead of my goal, and we had this planned out, and then the pandemic hit, and we just threw that all out the window. And thank goodness I've been able to get some new clients here and there, including I signed up a client here that, get this, they do chemicals for the medical industry, and their company brought in RVs, and these employees are literally spending their lives at the plant. He was telling me he hasn't seen his family for 2 weeks. And I mean, that's dedication. You know, if you brought in an RV, it told me, this is just, you're living here until the pandemic is over. Wow. It just boggles my mind. But they need to do it because of the fact that, the fact is that they have to be there for their customers, and they're critical. We will get them as customers using Microsoft Access for their maintenance records. And then today we were talking to a medical device company that uses Microsoft Access for almost everything at the company, 200 employees. And it really is, it was really a really big program, and we're going to be one of several vendors that are bidding on it. So looking forward to working with them as well. So there is on the medical side. All right. So when it comes to the pandemic, one of the things I've been doing is our employees usually work from home already before the pandemic, so it wasn't nothing unusual for us to all work from home. I used to have some beautiful offices downtown Chicago, and I decided many years ago just to have everybody work from home, and so we're used to already working from home. We already have high-speed internet, and I know supervising employees remotely is challenging. It's not for everybody. You got to find employees who can work from home, and you have to be able to learn how to supervise them from home, right? How do you supervise them? And my method of management is, if I can't trust you, then you can't work here. So I implicitly trust you when I hire you. So when you come work for me, I trust you 100%, and I can't trust you, I'll have to let you go. And so I give you objectives, both billable hours per week, and the project goals, and my expectations are that you meet those. Now, that means that you have to work 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day. That's what you have to do. And so for the most part, that's worked for me at IT Impact, be able to manage. Have I had issues over the years? Yes, I've had issues with employees who can't work from home to save their life. I don't know what they're doing now during this pandemic. And I have issues with employees who just don't cut it. You know, they look great in their resume and they pass the interview process, and we have a really rigorous interview process, and then it turns out they just don't cut it. So it's just not easy to supervise employees from home. And I'm thinking about writing about that and a forthcoming LinkedIn blog post about that. All right. So in March, I was supposed to go to Redmond, Washington for the MVP summit, and it became virtual this year. March. And so we had a fantastic virtual summit this year. We had a chance to, I think we have more participation because nobody had to travel. And sometimes we have MVPs that never meet because of the fact that they just don't come to the summit for whatever reason. So we got a chance to interact with them this year. I'm not going to lie to you, I missed the camaraderie. These are friends I only see once a year, and so it was difficult for me to do the virtual summit from that standpoint, from the social standpoint. I missed the evening events. I missed the free giveaways that we would get. So we've been spoiled. And now Microsoft already announced that the next MVP Summit is also going to be virtual as well. So they're going virtual on everything. Nothing is going to be in person for the next foreseeable year, I think, at Microsoft. And honestly, you can't bring together a large group of people until you have a vaccine. Let's be realistic about this. You cannot bring a bunch of people together unless you have a vaccine, or you've vetted those people, they have the antibodies, and they're not going to spread it to other people when you come together. So we're far away from doing that. And until we have a vaccine, I think you can expect the pandemic, the situation to continue. And so one of the things that I'm doing as an owner of one of the largest access practices in the world is I'm hoarding my cash, and I'm applying for loans, and I'm applying for help from the government to pay my employees so I can hoard my cash to weather out this storm, be able to survive, come out as a survivor in the other end. These are difficult choices that I have to make. It's important for me, at least, that these employees who count on me, that I leverage all the resources I can, apply for all the loan help I can, just so that we can be here and keep helping out. But you've heard me say this before. In the past, when I go see a virtual summit, I would say I've been an MVP now for going on 8 years. Hopefully, I'll get certified. Knock on wood. This year, again, 9th year. But I've been MVP for 8 years. And the first, I want to say 4 years, 5 years, it was frustrating to go to MVP Summit. We would. That was the era of Access Web Apps. And the focus was only Access Web Apps. They weren't doing anything for the desktop. And as you well know, that got all canned at Microsoft. That went nowhere. And so we've spent so many valuable years to the point where I'd be at the MVP Summit, and then we would put us between the Excel guys. So one room on the right were the Excel guys, and then the other room on the left were the Word guys. We were in the middle. And throughout the summit, the 3 days of the summit, all I hear from the Excel guys is, "Hey!" They love the new feature. Here again, Excel, and the Word guys would be, after a while, they'd be applying, "Yeah, that's great." And you hear nothing in the access room. It'd be like, I told my wife one night when I was talking to her from the hotel room, I said, "I don't know if I'm coming this year. This is depressing." But that team moved on. Then we got the team that was led by this wonderful access manager who's now moved on as well herself. And her name is escaping me, but she came on board, and she was the one that did new Link Table Manager, right? And so it was amazing. And now we have Abel, who's taking on the mantle, and she imparted her wisdom into him. And I see the same great traits in Abel. He listens to the community. He participates in user meetings. In fact, I'm hoping to have him here later this year before we finish our, maybe even next month. I'm going to see if I invite him over next month to meet with us. He gets it. He's listening to customers. He's listening to MVPs. He's doing a wide range of improvements. And Maria Barnes from our Access Lunch Group, she recently went over all the new features in Access. And from a query perspective, it's just amazing, and I'll be showing you some of that tonight. New query features. I'm hoping that you guys love them just like I do. And this year, for the first time ever, I got to see the super secret Microsoft plan for Access going for the next 2 years. I mean, I saw the whole timeline, all the new features they're planning, all the things are coming down the pipeline, and I was just blown away. All the stuff they're working on. I mean, it's just amazing, and I'm super excited about the effort going into the product. It really does tell me that Edward's got a handle on it, and is just kicking butt and taking names. So the number one focus of the team right now, the Access team, is bugs, right? That's their number one focus, bar none, right? So that's always going to be the number one focus. And then the second focus is new features. And one of the things that they did was explain maybe the rings of updates, right? You start with the smallest ring, which is Access Insiders. then you move on to the monthly channels, and then you move on to the semi-yearly channels, and the yearly channels. And I got finally explained to me what the insiders monthly channel is, and the regular monthly channel, and the insiders semi-annual channel is. Insider now. There's a channel, not insiders. It's called. It's like a preview, right? So it's like not when you have a semi-annual channel, you can pick from two. You can pick from the regular semi-annual or the other channel. Well, the other channel is the preview of the features to come. So I got that, and for the first time ever, I recorded the sessions. So as an MVP, I can go and now listen to everybody's sessions: Excel, Word, Microsoft Teams. And let me tell you, the stuff they're working on Teams, wow. I mean, I saw some features there I'm super excited about. So I'm really impressed on how Microsoft is coming along in terms of the access plan, their products in general, and how they're full steam ahead and really making the improvements. Now, when it comes to Teams, we use Slack at IT Impact. I love Slack. We use that for calls. Not for calls. We use it for chatting, documentation. We've built tools for Slack to help us with the development process. So it's hard for me to get off Slack because we have so much history and so many documents, so much great knowledge in there. And we have AI to help us at Slack to ask it questions. And, it's hard for me to get off of Slack and go onto Teams, but we use Teams for phone calls and support. And one service I'd like to show you later on this call is called Microsoft Bookings. I'll show that to you. You might be interested in using it as well. So when it comes to the MVP Summit, it was a wonderful 3 days. And the feedback, they always want feedback. Tell us feedback. Tell us what you think. And there was a brainstorming sessions where we can give it the stuff off our chest, right? And why does the product do this? And why can't we make it do this? And then I have one of my favorite sessions is I like to talk about the fantasy features I love to see in the product itself. And I previewed that in a blog post on the features I want. And I talked to the team about this. We need to be able to have a SQL Server connection object in Access. Because right now, when you connect to SQL Server, the product, of course, opens a bunch of connections. And there's no control over that. It says, let's just channel everything to one connection, because I've had experiences where I have an enterprise customer and the DB calls me up and says, why is it that your app, where there's only one user on it, I see 5 or 6 connections to my server? Right? I got to explain that to the imagine if multiply that times 20 people, 100 people, hundreds of connections opened by Microsoft Access. So I advocated for one connection, and the old ADP product used to do that. It was just wonderful to be able to handle that. And I suspect, I have no proof of this, but I suspect that code is still there in the product. It's just been turned off. And so I suggested that, go look at that code. That code might still be available. Why not incorporate that in the regular ACCDB file, right? So we'll see. The second thing that I advocated for was, boy, would I love to see, what would I give to have a connection, a linked table to a folder, right? Right now you can have linked tables to an Excel spreadsheet, right? You can have it to SQL Server. You can have it to a wide range of data sources. Well, why not have a linked table to a folder? And I suggested OneDrive as the start, right? If I had a linked table and it was a OneDrive folder and I opened that table, it would tell me the file name, the date created, the last modified, the extension it was, where it's password protected. I mean, columns and columns of data that I can then use to incorporate in my codes with such ease. Instead of using a file system object, which is a pain in the butt to do, be able to immediately read the contents of a directory and its subdirectories and be able to transfer subdirectories in that table. Oh my goodness. I just salivate about the possibilities of having a linked table that is a folder, either on the network or the local PC. And there was a third one, and Gosh darn, what was the other thing? Mikhail Bar, yeah, thanks for saying, Susan. Like Mikhail Bar was the prior before Ibu. I can't remember. It'll come to me. So we got the connection, SQL Server connection object, the link table I suggested. And so I don't know if you heard about this new feature, data connector called Graph. And that, once they roll that out, that's going to be a real game changer. And what Graph is, Microsoft Graph, and stop me if you heard this one. Microsoft Graph is a topology that exposes account information. So with Microsoft Graph, I can query the Active Directory of a company, and I get its members, and in turn I get their titles, their phone numbers, their emails, what groups they belong to in Active Directory. That's just one example of Graph. It also provides you, I think there's a Graph for Microsoft Exchange, and right now, if you go to Azure, you'll see a lot of information online for Graph, but the connector for Access is something that's coming down soon. But they first were going to release it, then they took it away, and then the reason one of the reasons is being that it exposes so much information. You got to be careful because it may be used incorrectly or might be damaging to the company. So one of the reasons why Graph hasn't launched for Access yet is the fact that they want to make sure, from a security standpoint, it's not abused by mere fact that they're exposing so much information from the Active Directory and Access. That's what I hear from them, at least. Talk about Graph. Oh, here's one of my pet peeves. So I don't know if you know this, but in Access, you can connect to Dynamics, which is a wonderful feature. We use it, and Susan, who's on the call, one of my employees, he's a senior Access developer. She used it at one of our clients to be able to edit their dynamics in the cloud data and Access, which turned out to be much more efficient and easier to do. But all that connection methodology that you see in Access right now is not the common data object model at Microsoft. The rest of the world uses Microsoft. And this is one of my pet peeves, is that Access, again, went on its own, just like we did with Access Web Services. We had this really started to look good product that never developed because I think Microsoft went in the actual direction of Power Apps. So think of Power Apps as the successor to Microsoft Web Apps. And here we go again. We have proprietary technology. They're called connectors in Access. And I have a real problem with that. When you have all this other effort, the whole rest of the company is using the Common Data Object Model, CDO. Let me just bring this up here. CDO Microsoft, I think it's called. Common Data Object Model. Collaboration Data Objects. Just want to make sure I'm using the right name for it. If you know what the right name for it, let me know. But it used to be Common Data Object Model. Maybe they have a new name for it. They recently changed the name of it. Common Data Service. Okay. Common Data Service. No. Common Data Object Model. Bear with me a second. I'm doing a search on Google. Data Object Model. Microsoft. Common Data Model. CDM. So if you look it up as CDM, all right? And so what Common Data Model is a whole framework the whole of Microsoft uses for everything, .NET, Excel, all these other organizations and products use the Common Data Model, except for, you guessed it, Access. And the nice thing about that, what the rest of the company is doing is they're constantly bringing out new connectors to different services and products, even from other vendors. And now we can't leverage that or consume that in Access. Instead, we have another technology that was developed exclusively for Access, and very rarely we get a new connector. Oh, scratch that. Just scratch it, and just use the Common Data Model. So I'm going to put a link in that into the comments on WebEx, so you guys can take a look at it if you like. All right, there it goes. And let me tell you, the confusion around the Common Data Model. I mean, it took me a while to grasp it myself, right? The confusion, how it works, how it would fit with Access. It's not something lightly to look at. But it's just interesting, and I wish we can just leverage it. And then the last thing I'm always advocating for is being able to consume Azure services and Access easier. For example, I did a project once where I had a virtual AI incorporated into my Access project, and I would ask the questions and come back with answers. Love the technology. It's called Q&A, and I've advocated for that during these sessions in the past. I'm not going to dive into it. I already talked about it successfully in other sessions. But Q&A is a great example of how we can leverage AI into Microsoft Access. It was a pain to get it to work. And if it worked because of one of my former employees, Sandu, who now works for Microsoft. Microsoft hired him away from me. But, Sandu helped me with getting that working and understanding it. And, God bless him, he got me up and running with that. But, it was hard, it was difficult. But once we got it working, oh, man, it worked beautiful. It just worked beautiful. And so one of the things that I've actually told one of my clients, in fact, one of Susan's clients is, I said, let's incorporate this AI technology, especially when you have an Access database that's so complex and so encompassing in terms of the functionality of the enterprise that people forget what things do or features work, and it's very hard for a new employee to come on board and use the product. So it'd be nice if I can go to the AI and Access, how do I create an invoice? How do I pay a vendor, right? Common questions like that. How do I add a new biller for a medical device claim? How do I do this? How do I do that? And let the AI reply back, go ahead and go launch this form, go to this page, do this, do that. So it's really one of the nice things about that AI. And that's just one example of many. So being able to consume Azure services, because let me tell you, I'm a Microsoft partner, right? And you know how they judge me in Microsoft? When they give me my report card, and they said at the end of the year, they give me my report card, I'm a silver data partner. So how much have I sold of Azure in the year? Now ask me how much I sold in the last 12 months. Zero. Because I focus exclusively on Access. So that whole organizational structure of partner help and partners, I do not have any involvement with those guys, because the first thing they look at when they decide if they're going to help me out or not is see how much I sold for Azure. And since I sold zero, I'm off their radar, right? So I'm one of the few Microsoft partners that focus on Access. And I still want to be a partner because, number one, I get all their stuff for free. I get $100 a month in Azure credits. I get use all their software for free. It's just a lot of great benefits and pays for itself, and then several times over. And number two, when people call me, like they call me today, this new potential lead, I can say, well, I'm a Microsoft partner. I'm an MVP. You can trust me because they found me on the web on the Google page versus my competitors who I know who they are. They're not partners and they're not MVPs. So it just helps me have that little bit more credibility than my competition. So one of the things that, so any questions regarding the MVP Summit you guys have before I move on to my next topic? All right.
Juan.
Yes.
Is there a Teams MVP?
Teams, I'm sure there's a Teams MVP, man. There's an MVP for almost everything in Microsoft.
Okay.
Almost everything.
I wasn't sure if you could do development in Teams.
Yeah, wow, the stuff they're thinking about MVPs and stuff. I wish I could share with you guys some of the amazing stuff I'm seeing coming down the pipeline. Innovative things I never thought of. This just blew me away. So let me see if I can find that. Let me see if it's available right now. See, now I gotta stop sharing so I can see what the words are. So I stopped sharing. So sorry, I apologize for that. But let me see. Microsoft Teams. Yeah. So this is out. Let me share this again. Let me know when you see my screen. You guys see my screen now? Let me give you this link and comments. You know, when I share, how do I show my comments here, chat? So can you see my screen, Ben? Did I lose you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just muted. I see shifts on half the screen.
Yeah, so shifts is a new feature for Teams that allows you to communicate through peep through Teams. So if I want to know what my schedule is, right? I work at Subway, right? Or I work at a supermarket, one of the largest supermarket chains in the U.S. I need to check my schedule. I can go to shifts and Teams and see my schedule. I can interact with my supervisor. I can exchange with another employee. Says, hey, can you take my schedule and I'll take yours on this other, and I can it keeps track of those swaps. So at the end of the year, we know if I owe you hours or I don't owe you hours. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I encourage you to watch the video on shifts, and that's just an example of that's already out and can be leveraged already, I believe. And then they say try it. I'm not sure if I thought it was great. It's got time clock and clock in, clock out. It's a wonderful way. Let me see another one I can hear. This is another feature. Walkie Talkie. You know, when you go into a Office Depot, Home Depot, the employee has radio attached to their hip and a headset. Well, Microsoft teamed up with a cell phone developer. I think it's LG. And LG has a new cell phone that you can use with this feature, and you can buy for your employees. And now it's like a walkie-talkie feature, but it's so much more. You can scan inventory. You can do shifts with it. It's just really impressive how it's like the old those Nextel phones where you can press a button, right, to talk with people. And I've heard some of
That's
the
the link.
yeah. Let me send the link.
Okay.
I'll send you a link on this one. So take a look at the walkie-talkie feature. I had a demo. I saw a demo of that, and I was quite impressed with it. So yeah, so the summit was quite the experience for me. So I thought it was impressive. Now the nice thing about this, then you know what happened was when I was there at Redmond, I would sneak out and not see all the sessions for Microsoft because I wanted to see stuff like this, cutting edge stuff, AI and all that. I would see, oh, we're going to talk about walkie-talkie. And Microsoft saying, what? Walkie? Oh, I'm going to go over there, man. I got to see that. And I would miss out on the access session, and they wouldn't record it, and I would have to rely on my fellow MVPs to find out what happened. With this, it's all recorded, and I've been watching his videos, which is under NDA. I've been watching the videos on the Yammer network. It's like the LinkedIn for business, Facebook for business Yammer. And it's just wonderful being able to see the breadth of things that are just coming through the pipeline. It's like this fire hose times 10 coming at you. And if you're not on top of these things, you're just not aware. It's just very difficult to keep up. All right. So tonight I have an exclusive for you guys. At the IT Impact, this thing with the pandemic has hit us hard. I mean, it's hit me hard so much. My heart breaks every time I hear these stories about doctors and nurses not having PPE, not having the resources to combat. This is the greatest nation on earth, and we're not managing this pandemic. We're reacting to this pandemic, right? And I pride myself to being a great manager. I pride myself being able to manage for success. And when I see how this crisis is being managed at the federal level, it's just heartbreaking, right? And then I see how in other countries the frontline workers are protected because they have the PPE. They're not falling ill. They're not losing doctors and nurses like we are here in the U.S. And so it's just heartbreaking. And so I put myself to, I met with the team here at IT Impact. Says, what can we do to help out? How can we help during this pandemic, right? And so one of the things that we noticed right away was that you've got a series of hospitals are going up, right? Field hospitals, like for example, Central Park Field Hospital that's come up. When you have these tents, right, that are coming up, and you see the National Guard, like we have one in McCormick Place right now. There's 3 enormous halls in McCormick Place. Right now, one of them is being used, and they projected maybe you have to use the other 2 maybe. And they were even thinking about putting the largest Catholic church in the world is in New York. They were thinking about opening that as a hospital. And so it's nothing for the National Guard to come in and build a temporary hospital But that temporary hospital needs PPE, right? It needs nursing stations. It needs inventory. It needs supplies. And then you've got organizations such as the Red Cross and other people like the Patriots. They donated 20 skids of masks. So you got this influx of inventory, and then you got respirators coming in. And how is that getting tracked? Well, if you got a temporary hospital like this, I guarantee you, somewhere around the world, somebody is using a spreadsheet, right? Because the hospital is easy to put up because materials, but the IT infrastructure behind that is not as probably robust like it can be. And so what they're using is a spreadsheet. And so a spreadsheet is great to tell you what happened today. Today I have so many masks. Today I have so many ventilators, right? I got 5 tents. And tent number 1, I got 2 ventilators. And tent number 3, I have 5 ventilators, right? I have so many masks on hand. I got so many gowns on hand. Great. But what did you receive last week? I don't know what I received last week. I don't have the time, nor does my spreadsheet be complex enough. All I do is I put it into what I have into my hand, and then I go count every night, and I deduct whatever was used, and now I know what the next morning I have. It doesn't allow you to keep track of issues or receipts. So we came up with this, the COVID-19 supplies database at covidsuppliesdatabase.com. A Microsoft Access free template that you can download and use to keep track of your supplies at your facilities, whether it be a hospital in a church or hospital in the park or hospital in a gym or whatever that may be. It's a simple inventory system that we built from the ground up that does FIFO. So if you received, right, 20 skids of mask, well, skid number 1 might have one expiration date. Skid number 2 has another expiration date. You're supposed to use it by expiration date, right? So with this system, you can receive it by expiration date, by item, and it'll keep track when you dispatch it. When you dispatch it and you say, okay, I want to dispatch it, I'm going to give a demo of this to you later in a few minutes here. You can dispatch it by expiration, so it does FIFO, first in, first out. So all the experience that we have as a company at Tampa, we brought this to bear on this product. It allows you to keep track of your inventory. It allows you to keep track of, it allows you to create orders. It allows you to do receipts. And yeah, let me show the whole screen. Is that better, Ben? It allows you to do, I'm going to send you my the covidsuppliesdatabase.com. It allows you to do reports. What came in? What came out? Right. So let's say, for example, I'm the New England Patriots. I just donated 20 skids of mask to you today. You receive it into the system. Receive 20 so many cases of mask from New England Patriots, and then I can provide a report to them of consumption. It says, okay, I consumed so many of those cases in the last 2 weeks. Or consumed in the last month, because you're tracking issues, right? There's a button there to track issues. And now you have the data in the database to be able to go back to that donor and say, hey, those 20 skids, I have a burn rate of 1 skid per week. Just one FYI, if you can send me another shipment of mask in so many weeks, that'd be appreciated, right? So it allows you to calculate burn rates. It allows you to see where that goes. So stuff comes in, it gets tracked, stuff goes out, it gets tracked. What I have right now is tracked. I'll show you all those features here in a second. The other aspect is, I was showing this to an organization earlier last week, and the first thing they tell me is, well, why isn't that web-based? Why is it not in the browser? And I told them several things. Number one, this system is designed to work with Microsoft Access, does not require internet access. So if you're in the middle of the Amazonian jungle with a field hospital, keeping track of your supplies, and you have 0 to no internet access, you can download this at a nearby large town, right, at a cafe, go to the village and start using it. You don't need a server. That's what the beauty of Access is. See, this is what people don't understand worldwide. But Access can bring to the table. I'm trying to demonstrate to them. So you have a pandemic going on. It's happening everywhere, from the bowels of Mexico to the jungles of the Amazon. Just this week, I heard of an Amazonian tribe that got their first COVID case. Those people don't have internet. How they're going to use a web-based product inventory system. And I'm not trying to compete with the web-based inventory system. They're playing web-based inventory systems. I don't know, they're free. This one's free. That's number one. Number two, a web-based inventory system will take me 6 months. I put this together in 3 weeks with my team. We've been burning the candle at both ends. So I need your help to promote this. It says when you go download it that we'll let know if anyone goes live. It's going live this week. Just making sure that we have the 32-bit version, the 64-bit version, and something that is really neat about the system that's unique to any other template that Microsoft has. I demoed this to Microsoft today, by the way. They loved it. It's something that no other template you can get from Microsoft. We can update this remotely, right? So let's go back to that village analogy. I'm in the Amazon village. I use it. I go back to the larger city. I finally have internet access. I download my emails. I can send that guy an update to fix bugs, new features, and new reports through the web. This thing will phone home. Once there's internet, will phone home, download updates. So this is not going to be a static template that you use it and you're stuck with it. No, we're going to improve upon it and give you great features. So it really is something else. And it's got some sample screens, but I'll be showing you that. So yeah, I need you guys to help me promote. So let me give you a demo of this. Let me stop sharing this and share the other program, the actual program itself. Second when I do that. All right. So you should see, let me get this out of the way. All right. So this is it. My design team came up with the logo. I thought that was pretty neat, the logo. But the auto update procedure that we have in place, worldwide update system that uses Azure to store updates and issue updates to everybody in the world who downloads this, is based on the version number, right? So there's a new version, it just downloads, installs, and you're off to the races. One advantage this has is it comes preloaded with a lot of the items that you might need for the pandemic. Anything from masks to even epidural kits and dressings, and my favorite, ventilators. So if you come down here, we went ahead and we imported all the ventilator models we can find on, and we're hoping that we'll find more ventilator models. Once this goes out, we're going to hoping that people say, hey, let us know if you have more ventilator models or more things that should go. So going forward, again, I can do updates, right? I can add them to your item table. You can add your own item table here, as well as you can add your unit measure. So we have this simple list administrator. So I can go to units and measure. If I want to add a new unit called skids or pallets, I can do that here. Right? And now I can add an item that's pallet based, right? So I might have the New England Patriots, they send me stuff via pallets. I can just say, you know, it's a mask and it's pallets. And I just add, so this would be medical apparel. So I just added a new item to the system. That's basically unit measure pallets. So why is that important? Because when you receive it, so I'm going to go to the desktop here. I'm going to receive inventory. I got a donation from New England Patriots, right? So I'm going to receive it today. New England, if I can spell England, Patriots. And I'm sorry if you're not a fan of the New England Patriots. Mask. So I got several. I got mask by the case. I got mask. Here you go, mask. Pallets. Right? I just added that. All right. And I'm going to receive it where? Well, I'm going to receive it in tent number 1. Right? I got 5-tent hospital. I'm receiving. I got 20 skids of pallets. More importantly, when I receive it, I define the expiration date. Okay, these expire August 1st of 2022, for example. Great. And then I can receive other materials. Once I receive it, I can preview it as a report, print this out as a filing cabinet, or I can click on receive. That gets imported into inventory. Now that's available for inventory. So now I can issue it, right? So I got this August 1st, 2022. Remember that. But more importantly, I got a receipt queue. So when somebody asks me, hey, when did we get that New England Patriot? I can go back here into my queue, search for Patriots and see when I received it. So now I got accountability built into the system. So now I'm ready to dispatch it, right? So I need to dispatch it. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to issue inventory. And I'll issue it today. And let's see here. And now I'll say, okay. Now I'm going to use mask by the case because I have a several location inventory. I want to make a point here. When I do the drop down for location, these are all my mask cases, right? I've got 70 cases in location 3. But more importantly, notice the expiration dates, January 1st. These are expired. Now in mask, I've come to learn when they expire is because the reason for the expiration date is because they fear that the rubber band might break. So, but you know, pretty much it's still a good mask. So I'll go ahead and issue 70 of these, right? So I'll say 70 of these. I still need more. So I'll come back here and I'll say mask. This is where the FIFO comes in, right? So I already used that. Now I got 100 and I'll take 10 of these from that location. Great. I got these 2 records. Now, this is what's beautiful about this. You've got it documented in the database, but what if you wanted to print it out so you can check off as you dispatch? Well, you can do that by printing it. I'll just preview here. Now you got this little handy check off here that you can use to actually go to location 3, make sure you're grabbing 70 cases of expired January 1st, and then go to location 1, grab another 10 cases of expiration date 3/1, and you can check it off here. So that's a beautiful thing about this. You can do that, and once I issue, it's deducted from inventory. Right, so I just deducted 70 cases. So I go back to do a new issue, which I'll do now. I'll go issue inventory again with today's date. And I'll do mask. Location 1 is gone, right? Depleted. Right now it's location 90 here with the 10, right? Location 3 is gone. Remember I used to have 100, now I got 90. So that's what I love about this system. We put this together in 2 weeks. It's a labor of love. We've been working it throughout the weekend. I'm working it late tonight. I got the report generator. That's not a thing. It's still not ready. Still I got to add more reports to it. But you know, it allows me to now, if I'm going to say close, I'm going to say click yes to close the form. Yeah, say yes. So now I've got an issue queue, right? And if I want to go back and say, okay, you know what did I issue today? I can click here and I can see the masks that were issued from inventory. All right. The last thing I want to show you is now I got inventory management. So if I want to see all my masks, right, I can go by item name. I say mask. And now I see all my masks in every location. Now we have a version of the system that is using Azure. So in case you do want to have this for whatever organization, Red Cross, all these other wonderful locations that may want a specialized inventory system, they can get that. It's hosted in our Azure accounts. We just charge you $89 a month for that. You have up to 10 users, $89 a month. And now you have a full inventory system to keep track of what you receive, what you issue. And by the way, you can create orders with this as well. And again, this is not a full-blown warehouse system. The reason we want to do this for the world is that we want to be able to provide everybody out there who's fighting this pandemic with the tools they need, right? So here, for example, I might say, okay, I want mask, and I'm getting that from supplier. The supplier Acme is their part number is this, and then I want that one doesn't have a case. I want 100 cases, whatever that is, and you sell it to me at $400 because you know they're price gouging me at mask. And then I have now an order. I can then email this order to the supplier. I can print an email through Outlook. Hello. You know how difficult it is to create email from a web app through Outlook? And this is just a few lines of code, right? So take that, .NET guys. And I can preview, I can print it, I can do that. So I click on close here. Now I just had create an order for that supplier, which I can email, keep track. Yes, it's designed for multi-user out of the box. It's free of charge. If you want the code, we do have the pro version. We're willing to sell you the cloud code. The pro version page is up already. You can see the pricing there. And that's mostly because we want to help them out, right? It's a great It was great. No worries, George. So if you want to go to COVIDsupplies.com, COVIDsuppliesdatabase.com, you'll see it. Let me send it to you the link again. Comments. Again, that's a great suggestion, Ben, for report. I can add that now, but I am so in tune to releasing this as soon as possible to help out with the pandemic. What I'll do is I'll add the report and I'll issue an update, right? That's a great suggestion there. Let me bring up the comments here. George Hepworth, is that George Hepworth that just made that comment, or is there somebody, some other George? All right, so one and the same. George is a former MVP who's not retired, so I appreciate that. So look, what do you guys think about the system? You think it's a free download? Do you think it will be downloaded a lot? I hope so. What do you think? You think it'll be helpful?
I like the layout. Does it have any touch capability?
Yeah, these buttons are touch. So I have my finger here, and I can touch the buttons. That's why these buttons are large. So it's all touch. But other than that, that's all it does, right? Like all this is touch enabled. So if you have a tablet, a Windows tablet, a Surface, you can run it, right? All you have to do is install Access Runtime, which is free, and you're off to the races. If you have a network location, right? If you have a network location in a tent in Central Park, you have a server up and running, then you can install it in multiple workstations. We can help you out with that. You have a support form. The website's already ready to go. I mean, the website's pimped out, guys. You can click on support, submit a support ticket that goes tracked into our support system. Somebody will call you or email you back to help you with it. You got an FAQ that's pretty solid already. Tells you how to do things. How do I do this? I have a video of getting started video. If you click on the YouTube link here, let me share my whole screen with that. Give me a second. I'll show you the website again. Let's see here. Okay. So here, the FAQ. Let me move this out of here. So the FAQ is ready to go. I'll be adding more FAQs as time goes by. I do notice that when you bring up this website on your computer, it is a little on the slow side. It's not exactly cutting edge technology I'm using for my web server. I may have to replace that web server. I replace it every 3 or 4 years. It's one of those deals where you pay monthly, and so if you're not careful, they'll let you pay monthly for 10 years, and you have this kinky old server. You didn't realize you can just get a new one, upgrade. But I got these FAQs up here. If I need to purchase access, I click on there. No, you can download it, and we can provide a link to the Access Runtime. And we plan to add a ton of videos because we realized for support-wise, videos is the way to go. And by the way, Peter, Access MVP Peter, what's his last name, George? He's in Germany. Peter's got a tool, pretty slick. He says, send me your database. I run it through Google Translator. Get this. He's going to run it through Google Translator. He'll translate every label and every control on this product to another language, create a table. Peter Dorian, create a table for all the corresponding labels. So when you switch the formula with the language on it, you'll just, from Spanish to Portuguese to whatever language. I mean, it's just amazing. So I'm hoping he can help me with this. I'll be sending this to him shortly, so he can help me translate. And then he says, the content I can't help you with, but I can create tables for you where you can swap out the content records and do it that way. But man, that's huge. If you can do all the labels and all the forms, that'd be awesome. We got a really good support form that's automatically tracked to our technical support. We got tech support, web support, sales support. We got a blog where I talk about why is it that we decided to do this, and talk about the field hospital. So the reason we have such a great website is because we have a website development department. And those guys are really kicked up butt and got this up and running. So they did a great job with that. And yeah, this is ready to go almost. Hopefully to release it either tomorrow or Thursday, but for sure Friday at the latest. And I need you guys to help me promote it. So tweet about it, talk about it on LinkedIn, over to any organization, not for profits. Anybody can use it. Technically, you can use it for anything, not just for the COVID crisis, right? You can use it for a mom and pop restaurant. Here's the thing. Starbucks, you're Starbucks, right? already have an inventory system. It costs you several $1,000,000 a year to maintain. No, never mind how much it costs you to create. But thanks, Carlos. I'll look into that. But it doesn't have mask inventory. It doesn't have glove inventory, or it may have glove inventory. It doesn't have mask inventory. It doesn't have shield inventory, right? So some guy at corporate has to add that to their inventory system. And then you have to get some purchasing agent to go out and buy that for each restaurant. And it's just it's like a aircraft carrier trying to move. Right? They're used to buying beans, milk, cookies, containers, but PPE they're not used to buying. So a manager can download this and use this for his store, his restaurant, right? Any location that's servicing people right now that their current system does not track PPE, they can download this and use it instead of having to wait for corporate to catch up. I go to the supermarket store. Now I go with, I was able to get my hands on N95 mask, a box of 10. Right, so I'm reusing the same N95 mask. When I get home, I sanitize it. So I got sanitizing wipes, and I've got my gloves. But man, I go to the store, and those frontline employees, the cashier, all they have is that little protective shield that's only protecting you. You sneeze in front of them, but who knows what's coming to the side. It's just they're falling like flies on the front line now. I hear every few days I hear about another grocery employee dying from COVID. And don't get me started about the bus drivers locked into a bus with a bunch of people. So God bless them. They're losing their lives in the name of servicing humanity. They need all the help they can get. They should get all the PPE they should get. Don't get me started on why we don't have that ready here in the United States for that. All right, Klaus, you mentioned something, and I'm going to bring out the comments because I want to talk to you more about that. Tell me about DeepL. Is that something that works with Access? DeepL.com. Okay. See what
it has nothing to do with Access. It's just a very good translator. I heard today of it. It's from the European Union, and it uses all the text as in the past for using that DeepL, all the text that the EU produced to translate that. And so the quality is nearly men-proofed.
Ventilator, is that the right word for ventilator?
Beatmungsgerät, yes.
Okay.
Ventilator, nine. No, ventilator is a, translate into German.
Ventilator is that what they put you in the hospital, they put a tube down your throat to your lungs?
Yes, no, but I don't know the English word for that.
That's ventilator. That's what the English word is. The nice thing about Peter.
Well, in German, that's that thing which you use when you have bad lungs. You need to.
Yeah, no, that's not. This is a piece of equipment that allows you to. But what Peter does is he uses a Google API to send it to Google Translate. So he scans your web app, your Access application, grabs all the labels, creates a table, and then he sends all those records to this Google Translator. They translate it back, and he stores in a table by language ID, which I thought was just amazing. He wouldn't let me have it. He says, no, I'm not let you have it, but if you send me your application, I'll translate it for you for free. So I'm looking forward to that. Ben, what does the error message that McAfee say? He doesn't like my website. What does it say?
I'm putting together some screenshots and I'll email them to you.
I appreciate that. Hey, Ken, tell me about that. I'll be honest with you, Ken. I've never done this in other languages. I love to be able to get this out in Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, all those E's. So if you have experience with this and you're willing to help me out, God bless you, brother. I'll be able to help you. That'd be great. So if you know how that works, have you done that, Kent? Let me know. Reach out to me, DM me at my email, jsoto@itimpact.com.
Well, and I've done language translation also. My app works in Japanese. I wrote a routine that cycles through all the control captions and puts them in a table, and then I can pass them into Google Translate and convert them. But someone needs to read them. You have to have a native person read them to make sure they're saying the right word.
Good. So I probably should put up a webpage saying, help us translate to other languages. Thanks, George. Thanks for registering. Appreciate that. We'll probably get Desi from our sales department to call you and send you instructions on how to install it, but you're old hat for this. One of the things that I presented to all the MVPs is today, right? We had a meeting worldwide of all the Access MVPs and presented this. And Tom from one of the MVPs says, why do you need to install the SQL Server ODBC driver 17 and MSODB 18? And because it's an Access backend, right? As soon as we release this, we're going to start working at SQL Server backend next week. Another few days of burning the candle at both ends, but we need the drivers in order to phone home, right? We want to be able to optimize that experience, and those ODBC drivers are lightning quick. If you use the SQL Server, the other day I was talking to a potential lead, and they're using the original SQL Server driver that's probably like 10 years old. That comes with Windows, 10, 12 years old. That thing is slow as molasses. It's not compatible with Azure. I mean, it's just terrible. So we just decided to bite the bullet, and Ben Clothier, who works for me as my architect, he's creating a setup program that will install an icon on the desktop, install the drivers, help you decide which version, 32 or 64, and then also help you install the runtime version if it's needed. In the absence of that, we're still testing that. I got people coming in early tomorrow morning at 6 to test that, and then we'll see if we can get a setup program. I don't want the word is out already. I don't want to hold it up, so we'll just help people install it. But with George, we'll just send you the information. You'll be old hat at it, and you can do it. Let me know if you want the 32 or the 64 version of it. It's got a lot of proprietary technology. Report Generator is one of them. Report Generator allows you to preview, print, PDF, and email. So I'm doing ACCDR. I mean, it's free, but I'm not going to give you my base code, right, for all this stuff, and especially the upgrade technology with Azure. So I'm compiling it and sending it out to the world that way. But Ben, I'd love to get your help with that, man. I appreciate it. So I'll send it to you when I'm ready to do the Spanish version, the Portuguese. And the Spanish, I can have somebody in my staff do. The Portuguese, I'll probably see if I can find somebody who can translate and check it for me. All right. Good. So look, tweet about it. Our official, if you look at these logos here, there's these logos, the social media logos here. Twitter is IT Impact Inc. So if you can follow me, that would be great. We have the YouTube channel. We have videos for COVID-19 supplies database up and running. And we've got LinkedIn. That's probably the IT Impact Inc. LinkedIn. So we're going to blast this once it's ready with the setup program. For now, if you get it, we'll just walk you through installing it. But once it's ready later this week and we have a setup program that's tested, ready to go, we're going to blast this everywhere, and then I'll help me guys promote this, right? I wish it ends up, that would be pretty cool if it ended up in a small village in the Amazons. That would be pretty neat. Somebody from there end up using it. All right, well, look, thank you so much. Sorry a little bit about the drama earlier tonight. I appreciate you guys coming up, all you guys showing up. You know, if I had an audience of 0, it's a lot more difficult. I tried doing podcasting with this microphone here, but it's not the same thing when I'm able to interact with an audience, so I always relish that. Next May is our last one of the season. They were off for the summer. They'll be back in September, so I'm going to get Ivo. I'll probably invite Ivo on board, and we'll talk more about my efforts of the COVID supplies database. And thank you very much, everybody. So long. This is from Chicago. Good night.
Good night, Juan. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later, Ben. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.